Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into Thank You for Arguing by Jay Heinrichs to unlock the ancient art of persuasion. The whole point here? To help you win arguments, sure, but more importantly, to build agreement and totally change how you approach pretty much every conversation you have. Okay, so let's jump right in, because this is something most of us get wrong every single day, and we don't even realize it. We think a fight and an argument are basically the same thing. But when it comes to persuasion, oh man, they are worlds apart. You see, the real difference, the core of it all, it just boils down to your goal. A fight is about one thing, domination. An argument, a real argument, is about reaching an agreement. And just knowing which game you're playing is the first crucial step to actually getting what you want.
Think about it this way. A fight is just about winning for the sake of winning. It's like Taylor Swift's Bad Blood. It's all about scoring points, being right, and asserting dominance. An argument, though, that's a tool. The book uses Yogi Berra as an example, someone who could playfully persuade his team to get on the same page. The goal isn't to beat the other person, it's to bring them over to your side.
And this leads us to the absolute #1 rule of persuasion. Before you even open your mouth, you got to ask yourself, what do I really want out of this? The second you stop trying to just score points and start focusing on the actual outcome you want, you've already made the biggest leap. All right. This next one is one of the most powerful and, honestly, coolest tools in all of rhetoric. It's about controlling the clock. It turns out that the tense you use, whether you're talking about the past, present, or future, can literally steer the entire conversation. So, way back when, Aristotle figured out that pretty much all arguments fall into one of these 3 buckets, each tied to a tense. You've got the past tense, which is all about blame. Think of a courtroom drama. That's forensic rhetoric. The present tense deals with values. What's good, what's bad. That's demonstrative. But the real magic, the most productive place to be, is the future tense. That's deliberative rhetoric, and it's all about choice and figuring out what to do next. The book gives this brilliant, perfect example. The author walks in and his son has used up the last of the toothpaste. His first instinct? Start a classic past tense blame game. But his son does something masterful. He completely shifts the conversation away from who's to blame and pushes it into the future, asking, the question is, how are we going to keep it from happening again? So here's what you got to remember. If you find yourself stuck arguing about who did what or what's morally right or wrong, you are just spinning your wheels. You're not going to get anywhere. To have a productive conversation that actually leads to a decision, you have to steer it into the future tense. Okay, so you've got your goal, you've set your tense to the future. Now what? How do you actually do the persuading? Well, Aristotle gave us this amazing toolkit with 3 timeless appeals: ethos, logos, and pathos. And trust me, you already use these without even realizing it. First up, you've got ethos. This is your argument by character. It's all about your credibility, your reputation, your trustworthiness. It's why we listen to people we respect. You know, it's that sibling who always gets elected class president. They've just got that strong ethos. So if ethos is your reputation, logos is all about the brain. This is your argument by logic. You're using facts, reason, and just common sense. This is the brainy sibling who always gets top grades by laying out a perfectly rational case. And finally, we get to what might be the most powerful tool of all, pathos. Argument by emotion. Because look, logic might get someone to agree with you, but it's emotion that gets them to stand up and actually do something. This is the sibling who gets away with everything because they know how to connect with how people feel. All right, get ready for this next one because it feels totally backward, but man, is it effective. It's a rhetorical Jedi mind trick. To get someone to agree with you, you often have to start by agreeing with them. It's a move called concession. And no, this isn't about giving up. Not at all. It's more like rhetorical jujitsu. You use their momentum against them. You agree with their point, which makes them lower their defenses and makes them way more receptive to your point. The book uses the classic example. You get pulled over for speeding. The cop walks up and says you were speeding. Instead of fighting it, you immediately concede. You know what, officer? I'm sure you're right. Boom. You've let them win that point. Then you pivot and appeal to their expertise, their ethos. You put them in the role of a teacher. By letting them win the exchange, you actually achieve your goal, driving away without a ticket. You see what's happening there? It's a huge shift in how you think about conflict. You weren't giving in, you're strategically using agreement to disarm them and gently guide them exactly where you want them to go. And all of this, every single tactic we've talked about, it all leads to this final and maybe most important idea. You have to completely redefine what it means to win.
Look, a true victory isn't about crushing your opponent and making them admit they were wrong. The real win is when the other person willingly chooses your plan and feels like you both came up with it together. It's not a conquest, it's a consensus.
I mean, the author just nails it with this quote. He says, true persuasion isn't about force, it's about enticement. It's about making them desire what you desire, so they actually want to agree with you. So that's really the question to leave you with. Just think about it. What could you actually get done at work, at home, and every part of your life if you argued less and persuaded more? Thanks for checking out The Explainer.